61 less energy compared to traditional cars in 1 mile.
For the efficiency context, the AirCar has a 400-volt lithium-ion battery which provides a high charge and discharge performance. It can travel up to 80 kilometers with only a single charge, and the artificial intelligence in the avionics, which is an air traffic management system, finds the most efficient route for the cars. Some of the stakeholders include international air organizations such as International Civil Aviation Organization, local municipalities, battery, hardware, and software companies such as NVIDIA, government organizations such as Federal Aviation Administration. For the international context, at least 200 companies are working on making flying cars. The market size is expected to grow 364% in 2022. Product types in the market include flying cars and passenger drones. Some of the key players in the market are currently Joby, Volocopter, Lilium, and Airbus.
For the privacy and ethic parts, there are concerns about these cars can be followed by using GPS systems. AirCar has a traditional route, therefore it can be followed. Also, users need to show that what they carry on, since private belongings may harm to these AirCars. For this purpose, there is a protocol written by FAA. Also, it clearly emphasizes that the rights of users and companies.
So currently, there are no users of this technology. However, as the CEO states, there are studies on the city's tolerance for noise, its demographic structure, its approach to such service, and its intention to pay money. So the AirCar will be developed based according to those studies instead of user feedback.
For the infrastructure and superstructure, these cars can travel at 400 meters altitude, therefore it's much far away from the regular height of structures. Also, this altitude complies with the rules of FAA. For the safety part, bad weather conditions were investigated. These cars are produced to overcome these harsh conditions, but in extreme cases, AirCar won't fly in case of security. Also, another concern is GPS systems may fail during the flight. In these cases, there are algorithms that use historical GPS to find the path goal. Also, if something occurs in front of these cars, it has sense and abort algorithm that used for rescue the risk and come back the route again.
For the work policy context, as the CEO states that gasoline vehicles will be banned in some cities in Europe by 2013. She also continues to mention the first uses of the AirCar technology, which is currently cargo carrying and touristic flights.
Okay, so the first thing that we found about sustainability is that AirCar is using total electricity. And this is very important in terms of sustainable future context. But the problem is, where does the electricity comes from? It doesn't come from the ground on its own. So that is the main question, and in order to solve this problem, alternative energy sources such as hydrogen, solar, and dam energy can be used in order to get electricity.
For the analysis part and its technological context, AirCar travels on an optimal route and it uses low energy, so we can say that it's an efficient vehicle. Therefore, in case of RRI, the AirCar team is anticipating a green future, and also they are including sustainability as a key value here. For the policy context, we see that the AirCar is communicating with the governmental and municipal institutions, and also they emphasize potential user feedback. Also, the safety and privacy of the vehicle, of the passengers, are also important, and they do that with in respect to the current legislations. So we can say that the AirCar is including different groups to their development project, and also they are anticipating possible risks to have a precaution, you can say.
So for the socio-technological context, people will try to settle in much taller buildings in the future. So AirCar technology will be used and replace the position of the conventional cars. So this situation can lead to a social class discrimination due to the inaccessibility of technology in the early stages. Also, Federal Aviation Administration, architects, engineers, air traffic management systems, and governments shape the infrastructure of this technology. Another thing is that AirCar shaping its technology by monitoring the habits of the potential stakeholders and the users. They monitor the habits of the people in terms of the usage of taxis and the cars. So they decided to build a two-person vehicle just like the taxis. And the part of the sustainability. Human beings exploiting and destroying the nature and its resources one by one, and eventually find itself the center of the ecological problems, such as global warming. Now they are trying to get a sustainable future and making developments in this context. In order to get a sustainable future and making developments in this context, AirCars and stakeholders should collaborate. So the AirCar include the stakeholders to get a solution, and the possible solutions are the generating of the electricity by using the alternative energy sources such as solar and dam energy to achieve a sustainable future.
So to conclude, we found out that AirCar emphasizes sustainability, privacy, and safety as key values. And with AirCar, carbon emissions caused by transportation can be decreased significantly. But at this point, we must remember that this is a technology in a very early stage of development, so there are lots of room for improvement. And together we will see whether the Jetsons' dream will finally come true or not.
Finally, our last group is in fact my own group, so it is my own pleasure to welcome my group mates on stage. Batu Arda Düzgün, Tolga Veske, Mehmet Ufuk Özdemir, and Aras Fırat Ünal. So the name of our project is Tangible Social Concerns in a Digitalized World, and we claim this to be a responsible research and innovation case study on digital transformation technologies at TEKNOPAR. In this project, we examine digital transformation technologies developed at TEKNOPAR Industrial Automation from an RRI perspective. But one might ask, what exactly is the digital transformation? It is essentially using digital technologies to build new or modify the existing processes in order to satisfy the current the requirements of our current digitalized world. And our aim is to evaluate some value concerns such as environmental values or social values of these innovations, and if possible, provide some solutions in the context of RRI. And at the end of our work, we have come up with some ways, such as using product lifecycle management and lifecycle assessments for company to enhance the responsibility of their innovations. As a theoretical backbone of our project, we have chosen the responsible research and innovation. And the RRI has 6 essential lessons for each company to enhance the responsibility in their activities. And we specifically focus on the first 3 listed here, which are strategizing for stakeholder engagement, broadening the current assessments, and placing values center stage of the innovation and technological developments. But I think an important point to mention at this point is why exactly RRI is suitable for our case. And TEKNOPAR is in fact a research-oriented company where social implications of the developments might often be overlooked. And in those cases, RRI provides a very good framework for us to assess how the company applies different approaches to produce responsible technologies.
I want to briefly mention our methods for this project. Firstly, we interviewed a manager, a software engineer, and a machine learning engineer from TEKNOPAR. After that, we used QDA Mineralite program for coding. And we grouped the main findings into 3 main groups. And they are technology, user experience and design, and sustainability.
This part is about the digital transformation technologies. We should start this section by first looking at the quote by the manager. He says, digitalization decreases the cost and increases the profit. This is quite important, as this is the very reason why most companies go through digitalization. And because of this, TEKNOPAR shares these economical concerns with these companies. It's also very important to remember that TEKNOPAR itself is a company. The machine learning engineer from the company says, here in TEKNOPAR, we keep up with the newest digital transformation technologies and develop solutions to meet industry needs. TEKNOPAR is a company and it provides services to other companies. Because of this, it needs to meet up to the industry standard to be in business and not lose potential customers. And lastly, we need to remember that digitalization brings with itself new dangers. Company manager gives the example of banks. Before digitalization, there was no such danger as a client's personal information being stolen from a bank, as all the information was stored in paper in the bank itself. But now it's a very real risk and a very real concern where all the banks care about. This section is about the design principles of TEKNOPAR and the design areas of digitalization. First of all, we should start this section by doing an overview of the application areas of TEKNOPAR. The manager says, in terms of IT, we work on information systems, machine-to-machine, IoT, digital twins, big data, and other application of artificial intelligence. We can see there are quite a lot of different areas of application for digital transformation. And because there are so many different areas, a lot of different people are affected by it. Our interviews revealed that employees, companies, governments, and even the general public could be seen as stakeholders for these technologies. And also our research revealed that as the number of digital devices increase with the developments in technology, the number of stakeholders will only keep growing. And because so many people are affected by this, it's very important to ask their opinions on these changes. The manager says, we try to constantly take feedback from workers during both the design and early usage phase. And the software engineer says, the feedback we receive from consumers is fed back into our system. This shows that TEKNOPAR cares about the user experience and user feedback, and it implements their feedback back into their design's final form. Finally, it's important to remember that these digitalization processes bring new dangers to the users and clients. All the different interviews we made mentioned different dangers these technologies pose to employees. This shows that the TEKNOPAR company is aware of such dangers and are actively trying to mitigate them as much as possible.
Sustainability is another important concept for TEKNOPAR, as it is for Bilkent this year. But the sustainability perspective of TEKNOPAR merges both economic values and environmental values, which may seem competitive in the first look, but for example, they use digital twin technology in order to increase the life cycle of the spare parts. So they use less natural resources like metals or fossil fuels. Also, this leads to using less money. So they protect both economic concerns and environmental values at the same time. Another example is use of digital transformation for data storage. So less number of paper is used. So this increases the compatibility with sustainability values.
We consider three main parts in the background research. They are public values, stakeholders, users, and sustainability. On the social values and concern side, the two main values we considered are safety and privacy. On safety, of course, the TEKNOPAR company is considering the worker safety, and it should be prioritized. So sensors are being used with cloud systems, and smart management systems are being implemented on the working sites. So the health of these workers can be monitored, and further machine learning algorithms can be used to improve these safety management systems. And the main objective is to increase worker safety. And on the privacy side, of course, this digital transformation systems is actually the users of these systems are concerned about their privacy, so their digital identity and the identity theft is a big concern for them. So the biggest concern we saw is the medical records. So cybersecurity measures should be implemented and increased to preserve this digital identity and digital identity to increase the efficiency of this digital transformation. On the stakeholder side, there are four main stakeholders, and they are companies, customers, users, and workers. On the user side, we should definitely consider user design and user experience to increase the user satisfaction. On the worker side, as I said, the safety is the main concern. And on the companies and the customer side, the digital transformation and simulations enables companies to simulate new environments that cannot be achieved in physical world. And lastly, on the sustainability side, paper use and carbon footprint is definitely reduced. And on the production and maintenance side, labor work and resources are no longer needed because anything can be simulated via digital twins. And on the life cycle cost and life cycle assessments, as the plot on the right side shows, there are three main characteristics of our production site. Manufacturing cost, design cost, and the support cost with the blue curve. So they can be optimized with digital technologies, and this optimization gives us a product life cycle cost. And if we reduce this cost, the production will be done with the minimized cost, and the life cycle will be optimized.
Moving on to the analysis and conclusion, first of all, for the privacy, there is a trade-off between privacy and security, and this trade-off can be solved by communicating more explicitly with the users about the privacy policy, or employing more technical solutions such as encryption or authentication. For sustainability, through training their personnel, the company is pushing the frontiers of the social and environmental sustainability due to the advantages of the digital transformation technology that is outlined before, especially in the predictive maintenance and digital twin technologies. For broadening their assessment, the TEKNOPAR can do the following: the life cycle assessment, first of all. They can employ the LCA approach in digital twin technology to assess the environmental aspect, starting from the design of the digital twins, their deployment, their usage by the customers, and finally, their effect on the sustainability in terms of the customers. And additionally, they can utilize product lifecycle management to oversee the whole picture of their hardware products, from conception through design and production to sales, and finally, retirement and disposal.
So we want to conclude by stating that it's possible to include both the sustainability and economic efficiency in technological solutions, and we certainly believe that with a correct managemental approach, sustainability does not have to be a compromise within the companies. So thank you for listening. Now I think it's time for the actual award ceremony. To this end, I would like to welcome Professor Nailakar again back on stage to distribute the awards to the winners. First of all, as the recipients of the Outstanding STS Sustainability Award, I want to welcome the first group back on stage. Dilruba Sultan Haliloğlu, Kerem Fidan, Kaan Keven, İlknur Yılmaz, and Ece Teker. So, as the recipients of the Sustainability and Innovation Awards, I would like to welcome the second group back on stage. Arda İçöz, Zeynep Selcan Öztünç, Ahmet Melih Gıcır, Nurettin Onur Vural, and Erdem Deniz Erdağ. And lastly, as the recipients of Sustainability and Equity Award, I would like to welcome my own group back on stage. Batu Arda Düzgün, Mehmet Ufuk Özdemir, Aras Fırat Ünal, Tolga Veske, and myself.
Burada ben söylüyorum. Şu an tebrikler. Çok güzel bir ses tonu var.
Çok sağ olun. Teşekkür ederim. Thank you, Professor Akar. So I would like to end our event by thanking first to our guest speaker, Dr. Yöntem, for her speech, Professor Akar for his speech and distributing the awards, our jury members again, Associate Professor Didem Dizdaroğlu, Associate Professor Selin Kocaman, Associate Professor Jenny Lane, and Professor Haldun Özaktaş. Our award winner groups for their performances, and all of you attendees for your attention. Thank you for attending.